Yo, what's good? Y'all saw, man, we just wrapped up an amazing interview with Bert Matthews, multiple nine-figure real estate developer with a portfolio that includes this building that we standing in. So let's check it out. But this right here, this motivating, like Triple M Enterprises. So if you ever wondered what a nine-figure organization looks like, this is it. Got the construction company over here, some of their projects. It's crazy, bro. These people built half of Nashville. Like, you got the Grand Opera, you got First Art Museum. Like, this is landmarks. This is historical landmarks in Nashville. And we just interviewed the damn man that built it. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Now we're walking into the brokerage office. And this thing just keep going. How you doing? This thing just keep on going. What I'm noticing is that although there's multiple businesses under this one umbrella, they all coincide, and people love to talk about, in order to be a millionaire or multimillionaire, you need to have different sources of income. And sometimes those different sources of income comes from a different business, but most of the time it's a vertical that came from your main business. So what I'm noticing is that they're real estate developers that owns assets, real estate buildings, but they also make money off of building buildings. They also make money off of the brokerage that we're in right now, selling buildings, and it's not pulling them in opposite directions versus if you're in real estate and then you want to get into damn car wash building. It's two totally different businesses versus, hey, they might list one of their buildings that they built and sell it and make money on the agent side and make money on the investment side. Or they might build a building and make money on the contracting side. So whenever you're looking to scale your business and open up other sources of income, which is vertically integrating it, look at different lanes and highways that you can add to your business that you're already doing. That's what's so crazy about this. I mean, we got contracting, we got brokerage, we got investment firm, and all of these things work together like a well-oiled machine. So this is a little tour of the office. We just wrapped up an amazing interview. And we about to get on with the rest of our day. We got some work to get done. But this is where we at. This is what we doing. Look at that, they tearing down a building right now, about to build another skyscraper. What's crazy is this man owns this building here, and he built that one, and got 100-something tenants going in there. Literally build the life you want. Yo, what's good, what's poppin'? It's your boy Abram Mitchell, and we back again with another episode of Triple M Podcast. And today, I got a special guest with me. He goes by the name of Bert Matthews. Some of y'all, a lot of y'all probably already know who he is. So I'm excited for this episode, man. I'm excited. Bert has had an illustrious, very successful real estate development career. But we here to, just talk about where it started and where it's at now, because we like to look at people that are at a high level and just think, oh, they at a high level. But when I look at people that's at a high level, I'm more interested on how you got there. What's the journey? What was the process? How did you get from point A to point B? So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to pull the curtains back, and I'm ready to get started.
I'm ready too.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great today.
That's good. That's good.
Really good.
I appreciate you for taking the time out your busy schedule to allow us to come here and interview you.
Happy to do that.
So how was your weekend?
My weekend was really good. I had a very peaceful time. It was good and relaxed.
We just talking about how you're just getting back from Greenland, right?
I was in Greenland for about 2 weeks, seeing icebergs, just really out in the middle of nowhere with 10 buddies of mine, and it was quite the experience.
Is that some of the like things you enjoy the most these days, like getting to go out and relax with your friends and enjoy nature?
Yeah, I really, aside from family, work, and the things that I get to do here, one of the things I love the best is just traveling and seeing completely different parts of the world and seeing how people live, make decisions, and seeing how different the world really is. It's remarkable.
It is. I think and it's crazy that 90% of people don't even ever get the chance to experience, outside where they from, and where they live at. So it's just such a blessing to be able to travel. I haven't been to Greenland, but I've been able.
I've been to Greenland before this trip either.
So it was an experience for you.
It was a big experience.
So I want to talk about, your career.
Sure.
Because obviously you've had a lot of success. The building we're in right now, you own it, you built it. But I want to talk about where it all began. Where did Bert start?
Well, there are two things. One is I was really lucky. My father was in the business and he was helpful, gave me a great reputation. I got a good education, so that helped me as a foundation. So I had that really good piece to start from. But it was really about just getting in there and trying one experience after the next to be able to make a project happen, learning the fundamentals, taking a managed risk as I was working on different projects, not getting too far over my skis. That was really, and then just built from there. So
when you say managing risk and not getting too far over your skis, obviously, you had to mess up somewhere, so what was like, how did you get through, learning this process and this business coming from scratch, because even though your father was in the business, you still had to learn, how to grow the business because you obviously grown it.
We made some mistakes.
Okay.
I learned a bunch of stuff when I was in business school. I thought that what they taught me was exactly right. And so I followed one of these models. I didn't follow it correctly. And I made a big mistake.
Even going to Harvard?
Yeah, even going to Harvard, I made a big mistake.
Okay.
So, but I was able to learn from there and then kind of just try to manage risk. And that was what that first experience.
Okay, so you obviously learned, because you said it twice now, managing risk.
Yeah.
So what was that first big mistake?
So that big mistake was, I made two things. One is I picked up a partner that I liked, but that partner was not willing to step up with me when times got hard.
Okay.
So when times got hard, he said, "See you later," and left me kind of hanging. The next thing that I did is I bet all on a one or nothing.
Okay.
And ended up with the nothing, not the one.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to figure out, okay, what are the different choices that I got and how do I get from here to there in the worst case if that ultimately happens.
Okay, so like when you say you bet on one, was it like a certain deal, like a property or a piece of land?
We had a building with an anchor tenant in it, and that tenant was going to either stay or go. Okay. And I just laid everything on stay as opposed to the fact that they actually went. And when they went, the building had a bad negative cash flow, and I hadn't planned on
replacing them, right? You didn't plan on the turnover. You just thought they was going to be there forever.
Yeah.
Okay, so was there ever a time where you was in residential real estate, or has it always been commercial? And how do you feel about the difference between residential commercial real estate?
Yeah, so I've done apartments.
Okay.
In micro housing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We developed the Stallman building. We developed a building on 2nd Avenue that we sold, but ultimately got blown up.
Yeah.
That was, yeah. So I've done those kind of projects.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference between residential and commercial for me is that when office tenants or warehouse tenants, they go home at night.
Yeah.
So they complain all during the day if they got stuff that's going on. But if you're in an apartment, they come home at night and that's when they start to complain. And so it makes your day a whole lot longer if you've got a mix of both.
Yeah.
You got tenants in the office that are complaining during the day and residents that are complaining
during the night. You like, when I leave the office, I don't want to hear nothing else.
Yep.
I feel that. So I've seen that, the Matthews company now, which is two sides, which side started first, by the way? Was it the development or the?
It was the construction side of things. So my grandfather was a contractor. My father was a contractor. My father got into real estate. So he was doing both real estate and construction.
Okay.
My brother and I started working together, and in the 90s, he picked the construction side and I picked the real estate side.
Okay. So it was like the perfect duo.
Really good.
So do you think it was necessary because obviously on the construction side, you're able to generate cash flow, so do you think it was necessary to have that part of the business in order to, are y'all rolling the construction money into purchasing those assets?
Sometimes, yes. So if you're starting out, it really is a matter of figuring out how you're going to live from project to project, how you cover your overhead.
Okay.
And that to me is the
bill payers.
Yeah, you got to pay your bills in between this and that, and whether it's you keep your current job and you're working at this twice as hard at night, or whether it's cutting back your expenses to live within whatever, figuring out how you cover that overhead is something that we've got to do every day.
Every day. Yeah, and it's crazy because business is different, but it's the same. You know what I mean? Even in my business, we're a lot smaller than y'all, but
not long.
It's covered.
Long.
It's covered. We're definitely going up, but even in my business, getting into the development side, building infill, single, double family, I still have to keep a portion of my business that's able to generate cash month to month, day to day, because like you said, you got to be able to pay those bills in between. And even when people come to me saying, hey, I want to get into development, I'm letting them know, hey, make sure your cash flow is there because you're not getting paid whenever you develop those buildings for a period of time. So the worst thing is to not be able to make it to the end of that project and get foreclosed on. So is that some of the same advice you give to people that want to get to this level?
Real estate is, so there are kind of three components to that. One is, real estate is something that if you can hold on to it long enough, it'll get you from one side to the other. So you really got to be able to hold on to your project during times like these with high interest rates and things like that.
Uncertainty.
Getting from here to there is important.
I remember you telling me that when we was on the deck by your office that day, and you was telling me, you got to know when to hold and when to sell.
Yeah.
And sometimes, in the world where everyone's like, don't sell, don't sell, don't sell, it was interesting that somebody that owns so much, you let me know that sometimes you just have to sell. So what do you have to say to the people that, try in all their power to hold on to a property, What do you say, you know?
So I would tell you that property is a lot like a stock.
Okay.
Stocks go up and down, real estate goes up and down. You're managing an investment. And so that's what you got to really think about. You're managing an investment and making that decision for how you're going to do that. It goes up and down, and figuring out when the right time to sell becomes a really, really important question.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
And so, what's some examples of when you had to sell? Because you've been through the '08 crash, you've been through what we're going through right now, and you've probably been through, you know, more, how many cycles?
I've done 6 cycles.
6 cycles of real estate.
Yeah.
Okay.
The good thing is, you know,
Once you see
goes
it,
up, goes down, comes back up again. So, you know, as bad as it can get, it'll come back eventually. So
you in panic mode right now? Because they talk a lot about commercial real estate right now. Like you got Evergrande, they just went under.
yeah. Did they go under?
Yes, they went. That's some news to you. So yeah, Evergrande went under.
I knew that they were having their stock. The last time I saw was down 80%. So I guess it went to 0.
They reported it was a ridiculous number. It was like 80 billion or 130 billion dollar loss in the last 2 years. Don't quote me on that, but it was somewhere up there in the high billions, over 50 billion, and they went under. You know, and you know, typically if the top company, because other than McDonald's, I mean, who else is probably the largest real estate company in the world? Evergrande's, your McDonald's, you know. So whenever the top player goes down, the smaller players, in this case, when you compare it to Evergrande, you're a smaller player. So
that would be really true.
Yeah.
You could divide by a couple of hundred, and I would be a lot. But yeah, to me, panic is if you're managing your risk, if you know where you are and how you're going to get there. It's a matter of just making those kind of decisions. So if you're over leveraged and the bank is calling you and you got issues, it's no fun.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not any fun at all.
Yeah.
So figuring out how you're going to work through that becomes really, really important.
So how, like, being through 6 cycles, and at this point, you're more experienced, you know? So your panic mode is probably a lot less than someone that's going through their first cycle or second. So, but tell me about whenever you went through your first and second cycle, or when you got one of those bank calls, what was the first thing you did, or how did you pull yourself out of one of those situations?
What I found is that open communication, talking to them first, putting a plan, making sure you follow through with exactly what you tell those folks is the most important thing that you can do.
Because it's the trust, huh? You want to keep that trust there.
All you've really in these bad times like that, all you've got is ultimately your reputation.
Okay.
And being able to have your reputation all the way through the process is extremely important.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if everything all blows up and you've just got your reputation on the other side, you can start back. If you don't have your reputation,
it's very hard. You're going to have to move to another side of the map or something. So, okay, so you've been through all these cycles. Whenever you're managing those risks, have you ever had to, like, sell a piece of property that you wanted to keep?
Yeah.
Okay. And would you do it again? Like
that was the only way out.
Only way out.
And so if it's the only way out,
then you got to do it.
You got to do it.
You got to do it. Okay, so
yeah, I've sold property for a loss, sold property that I didn't want to sell.
So you've lost. So Bert Matthews, at the level you're at, you've lost money on deals.
Oh yeah.
Okay then.
Nobody, anybody that tells you that they haven't isn't telling you the truth.
Oh, they ain't done enough.
Yeah.
They ain't doing too much. They ain't taking enough risks. So, what is the importance of taking risks?
So what I find is that you can really figure out what are the issues that are going to cause, things things to happen bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can figure out how to cover those,
Mm-hmm.
or at least be knowledgeable about those, then at that point, you can make a decision about whether you want to invest or not.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have a clue about what the downside looks like and have that covered, then, and you think things are only going to go here or up, you can end up in a real mess.
Because you're not prepared for it. I kind of compare that when they got that quote with Abraham Lincoln when he's like, if you give me an axe to cut down a tree, I'm going to spend 6 hours sharpening it up.
Yeah.
So, if you're looking at a property, you'll spend a lot of time, analyzing the deal and not just analyzing the upside, but also analyzing the downside and then making a determination if you could deal with that downside.
Right. Yeah.
So at y'all's level now, y'all have, 30 assets under management, over 2 million square feet of office space?
Something like that.
So is it more now?
So I tend to focus on the assets and not on the total.
Okay. So on the micro.
Focus on what's happening here and figure that the big picture will take care of itself if I'm focused on each of the different pieces and finding a new opportunity to figure out how to make it work.
Man, it's crazy you say that, and that's so insightful. And I want people to realize that because I've been blessed with the opportunity to interview people like you or get in the rooms with people of your level, and a lot of y'all have said the same thing, where it's like, I don't really look at the big picture. I focus on executing little at a time, small step at a time, and the big picture, that's how you get to the big picture. So sometimes whenever you look at, we got 30 assets, 2 million square foot of office space, that might cause you to relax a little bit or maybe say, we've arrived, right?
Yeah, it is, I just don't think of it that way.
Yeah. You look at it like this don't stop until...
I don't ever look inside the box to see what's going on. I just try to make sure I'm filling up the box.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Keep filling the box up, huh?
Yeah, and then that way, as long as you're doing that, and you're taking care of everything, it should take care of it for you. The other thing, back to thinking about the way you manage things, once you've covered your overhead, then you got to figure out, okay, in the money that I'm making, what am I going to do with that money? And am I going to put it back in the business? Am I going to put it into other investments? Or am I going to just spend it and go have a great time? Figuring out how you balance all that becomes really, really important.
Yeah, because, you got to use that money to grow, because at a certain point, it might stop growing if you're using it to go to Greenland and Mongolia, China.
There are 100 different ways that you can spend and enjoy your money. Mm-hmm. But if you're not putting it back in, then you're not growing. And if you're not growing, then all of a sudden you've set the limits for how far you're gonna go. Yeah. No, if you're not growing, you're dying. Yeah.
Simple. Like, it's a fact. If you're not growing, then that thing can turn right backwards, and now you're going the other way. So the company's been here for 75 years now. You started in 1941.
Yeah.
Of course, it was a blessing to have, parents and grandparents that started this company. But looking at the research, you and your brother has obviously taken it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, he was, when he started running the construction company, its gross revenue was $4 million a year.
Okay.
And now it's about $185 or $200 million a year.
So, that's literally
it's just incredible.
That's like a 50x growth.
Yeah.
What would you say, like, if you was to sum it up, like, if it was one thing that was the reason as to how y'all been able to grow it so aggressively and relatively fast, what would you dedicate that to? Was it just a lucky market, or what was it, you know?
Well, a lucky market helps a lot.
It does.
Being in Nashville, Tennessee over the last 10 years.
Did y'all anticipate all of this?
No. And so, you know, being in a really good market helps a huge amount. I mean, my brother and I often joke that all we had to do was be lucky enough to be here.
Yeah.
And it all took care of itself from there. So market helps. Reputation helps. Hard work helps.
Yes.
All of those happened. So, you know, the market has helped a huge amount. My brother and I got a lot of benefits from being where we started from. I didn't start the race at, you know, back here.
Yeah.
I had a huge amount of benefits. And then hopefully I just got in the way or worked hard enough to be able to do a little bit better.
Yeah. Nah. And you say that humbly, you know, and yes, a lot of people was in Nashville during this time, but a lot of people are not Bert and your brother. So would you say, like, building a strong team was also necessary? Because, I mean, you got this big office, you got staff, you got partnerships. What role did a team play in this?
Yeah, so there are two pieces to that. One is it's all about your people, as you obviously know. So you surround yourself with good people that you can trust. You reward them. You give them, opportunity, and they'll stick with you. And that is a really, really good thing. The other thing that I would tell you is that being engaged in your community, where you're giving back all the time, whether it's through civic work, your church, whatever it is, being able to be a part of that is extremely important also. So team and being committed to your city in a way that when you're working as a part of making the whole city better, bringing everybody forward at the same time becomes truly important, because that's how you make a better place to invest.
Yeah, that is, and that's how you capitalize off of the opportunity that in your lifetime you've only seen this once, right?
Oh yeah.
What Nashville?
Last 10 years.
Yeah.
We used to have to beg lenders to come to Nashville, and they looked at it as some small podunk sort of town, no growth. Rents were flat for the longest time. Excuse me. And it's only recently that it's just gone up like a moonshot.
Yeah.
So, in different cities will be different ways. I remember talking to your class, and you had people from all around the country.
Yeah.
You just have got to do the very best that you can, and oftentimes the market itself, whether it's the whole city or a small little sub-market that you know and understand, that's how you're able to grow what you got.
And so whenever it comes to, learning a sub-market and where you're at, you got to be disciplined. A lot of your habits, probably plays a part in how well you know that market and how well, because y'all probably spotted it as soon as the turn started to happen in Nashville versus, yeah.
But, it's all the skills that you're talking to your folks about hard work, identifying opportunity, managing risk, all of those are things that for folks is a way for them to ensure their success.
What is your day-to-day like?
I don't really know.
You don't really know?
Come in and not just...
Come in and work.
Come in and work.
Do you have a day where you feel like you're going to just retire?
No.
No.
So I'm really lucky. My father, I'm 69 years old. I'll be 70 in February.
Okay.
And like we talked being able to travel and experience the world is really important. So, but if I can keep working and traveling and being with my kids and grandkids, I mean,
it's a lifestyle now. It's not like you're working in something that you have to do. You do it because
I love it.
You love it.
I love doing what I'm doing.
So it's important to put yourself in a lane where you could enjoy what you're doing, because you probably don't look at this as
No,
work.
this is great fun.
Yeah.
What I get to do every day is just a blast.
I know you're telling the truth with that too, because I can tell by the look in your eyes and just how you lean up when we talk about that. And I remember when we met at the gala, and I didn't even know who you was at that point, but it was.
I didn't know who y'all were.
Exactly.
I just enjoying being there.
It was the curiosity. You know, that was the thing that I noticed about you, is that even at your level and all the success you had, whenever we sat down for our first meeting, it was like you was more curious about what I had to talk about. And, you know, the whole time I'm thinking, you probably not even worried about what I've done in my career to this point.
The more I can learn, the better off it is.
I want to be mindful of your time here. What is some like insightful advice you would like to leave our people with, that they're looking at this interview and they're like, man, I want to be the next Bert Matthews, or I want to get my family on that path where I could pass this off to my kids and set them up to grow it. You know, what advice would you give to them?
I would say it is hard work.
Yes.
People need to work hard. They need to give back, and they need to enjoy. Mm-hmm. So if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're giving back to your community, and you're working hard, I suspect that you'll have the opportunity to be successful.
Yes, I agree with that. You know, and success is simple. You know, like there's hard things you go through in between. There's learning experiences, there's L's. But at the end of the day, when you take successful people, it's habits, you know? You could boil it down maybe to 5 to 10 habits. Discipline, you know, they're not lazy, hard workers, they're dedicated, you know, and whenever you adopt those habits, you put yourself in the right place to set you up for that success. You know, learn that piece of information or get exposed to that tool or knowledge or resource that's gonna boost you to the next level. So, man, I appreciate you for taking the time out your day.
Thank you so much. It gets me all excited.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. I know that our viewers will be excited to see this. Are you on social media or anything?
Not really.
None of that. Okay, so look, just search Bert. Yeah, just search Bert Matthews on Google if you want to do any research about him and his portfolio of companies and what he owns. And man, thank y'all again for tuning in on another great episode of the Triple M Podcast. We'll be right back again with another great episode next week, and we out.